Hello and welcome to this video exploring how to use ZebraCut to recognise text. This is a new feature coming with ZebraCut 3 and it's something you might want to do if you're trying to label your parts. The quickest way of doing this will be to use Blackman & White's inkjet printer, which will be significantly faster than using a traditional pen tool which has to mark one line of each letter at a time, whereas an inkjet can go through and print several characters per second significantly more quickly. But to do that, we need to make sure we have text rather than lines on our parts. So let's have a look at an example that I've prepared. So here we are, we have some letters and they're all on one layer called example text. And what's really important to notice is that these characters are formed of individual curves, individual lines and arcs and curves. Now that means that when you come to send these to the machine, the machine is going to have to deal with every line individually. What we want to do is to make these actually into text in Rhino so that they can be recognised and used with the inkjet and sent down as one stream of characters to be printed as one go almost instantaneously. Now, if your text does not look like this with individual curves like this, you may need to run an explode step to make sure you have multiple curves forming each character. Now the process of recognising text is a little involved, but we've done everything we can to help you with that. Now the first thing you need to do is to install the alphabet that we're going to use, the font, the way we've taught ZebraCut to recognise a particular type of CNC vector text. And to do that we're going to go to Help along the top of ZebraCut, and we're going to go to ZebraCut Help. Lots of useful things in here, but today we need to look at Install and Alphabets. And you'll see we've already prepared a couple of different CNC fonts which you might want to use or might have in your existing files. So we're going to find one of those and then we're just going to press Install. And that will have installed the alphabet into your settings within ZebraCut. The second thing we need to do is we then need to go to ZebraCut Examples, and we're going to go to Preparation, we're going to go to Steps, and we're going to look at installing the vector text or curve to text step, an example of a preparation step for that particular font. So this just saves you a lot of trial and error configuring the preparation step to work with that particular font. And again, we're just going to press Install, just like that. And that will have installed the curve to text prep step into your current pipeline. Now there are a lot of parameters on here and we will work to simplify this list, but the most important thing here is to notice this alphabet Rhino CNC is corresponding to the font which these letters are. The next most important thing to look at here is the layer that we're going to use. So we're going to actually search all layers, or we can, for example, just search example text, or whatever we want. We could even use an asterisk, and we could just search any layers which have example in it. And of course you can choose to be case sensitive or not, as you wish. I'm just going to run this in selection mode so that I can just show you a few letters at a time being recognised. So I'm going to select all of these A, B, C, D, E. And then I'm just going to go and apply this one step here. And you'll see we now have a piece of text. You can see Rhino has recognised this as a piece of text and it's been outputted with the font we asked for. So this is the Rhino font. It's actually the same font as these curves were generated from. And here is our text. Now it's important to notice you've got one single block of text containing all 5 characters. If you find that you end up with multiple pieces of text, like maybe A was one piece of text, B was another piece of text, you need to look at the expected character spacing and then the search radiuses which are down here. You're looking for the one which is a sphere around this in millimeters. That will help you to merge text together so that you get one long single string of characters which can be sent to the inkjet and again printed much more rapidly. Now the text recognition that we have will work with multiple sizes of text. You see we've got a smaller text here, so let's just go ahead and find those ones. and obviously it'll work with larger ones as well, just like that. There's no limitation to the length of text which can be recognised. You might be wondering why the text has been put out with a particular size, a slightly smaller size to this one. Now that's basically because you're generally going to text mark your parts with the same size font across the whole cut area, and that's controlled here by the output height. So if I do want to output larger characters, then I can of course change the output height here. Of course I'd have to change that in the inkjet settings as well, but just for examples sake, let's just run that with slightly larger text, and you'll see we do indeed get a larger text here. If we just put that back down to 10 again, just to try. You of course can change the maximum and minimum scale that you want to find, so we're going to go for 3 times the trained font, down to about half size the trained font, and that's kind of covering this kind of variation in text scale. Again, if you have problems actually recognising some text, do please get in touch with technical support, and we'd be glad to help you to configure ZebraCut to be able to recognise your specific text from wherever it has come in the past. Now, we're not limited to recognising text on a particular line. We can also obviously detect capitals and lowercase as well. So you can see we've got all of those. We can also detect text which is on an angle. Let's just get all of the F there. There we go, just like that. So we can also select multiple pieces of text at once. And indeed, you can run this over an entire document if you wish. Let's just run it on these ones as well. And there you go. Now you do have to be a little careful in making sure your text is still within your parts. That's really down to you as you're resizing the size of your text and the geometry of your parts. And of course, how you actually print with the inkjet will also determine whether the text will fit within your part or not. Something you do need to pay attention to as you work. Worth saying, the text has been put out onto a layer called text. You've got control over the output layer in the settings for the prep step. So again, there's your output layer text. You can change that as you wish. Now it's worth saying that Rhino does sometimes try to reverse your text. So if I take this piece of text here, and if I just rotate that and make it point the other way, now I've configured my Rhino so actually it won't, when I have my text in this direction, because it's just curves, you can see it's backwards. However, when I go and recognise it, you'll see it flops the other way around. Now that is actually, Rhino itself is trying to show you the text the correct way around for you to be able to read it, but in this case the text is actually pointing to the left. That is a setting you can change within Rhino, something to be aware of. You may well want to turn it off if you're working with text regularly, so that you know when text is backwards. But there we go. That is how to use the curve to text prep step to recognise text so that you can then inkjet it much more rapidly. Thank you very much.